Hello, everyone. Welcome to WorldView and welcome to Headmaster's Homeroom. I am Lady Hamilton. It is Monday night here, and again, this is WorldView, and I am excited to have all of my viewers here with us tonight as we've got an amazing topic we are going to be covering this evening, doing it through the wonderful side of art. So let's welcome everybody here tonight. Hello to all of our Rumble viewers. Nice to see everybody. Hello to all of our Pilled viewers as well. Hello to all of our X viewers and hello to all of our YouTube viewers. Yes, we are streaming on all of our channels tonight. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Everybody do me a favor and hit those buttons, hit those likes, follow, share. And thank you guys for your support. I sure do need that. And I'm truly grateful for your rants, your subscriptions, your cash apps, your pills, your tips, and more. Thank you so that we can do the show 5 times a week here. And like I said, it is Monday night, and this subject tonight is super important to me on a very personal note. Tonight, we're focusing on the most vulnerable among us, our children. The good news is we are talking about them. We are refusing to be silent. We are sharing tonight powerful artwork that's created by myself and our amazing guest, Crusader of Truth tonight, bringing awareness and raising awareness about the abuses that are affecting our children around the world. Through creative expression, we are going to confront difficult realities and ask hard questions about how can any society accept harm against our youngest members. This is going to be probably one of the most important, but also probably one of the hardest episodes I ever do, as this stuff hits me on a personal note of being a survivor from rape myself, to adopting children and working, that have survived these kind of situations, to also bringing awareness to this kind of information, because this is a global problem. When we are talking about human trafficking and child trafficking, it is one of the biggest businesses in the world. So what do I have to say about what's going on in the media? I'll tell you this. To some extent, I understand that there's a lot of games being played and there's a lot of voices saying certain things, and I know that this is just a major problem. I don't know, this is how I feel, I don't know who's all involved. We see a list, and when the list just dropped yesterday, I'll be sharing some stuff out here on X tonight as well, and some names on there. One thing that we can say is we've been vindicated for not being so crazy for those that have known about what's going on, and we're like, okay, so now we can see some of these names. This has been going on for decades. I would love to see some prosecutions from these clients. I've said this multiple times. I'm really thrilled that the traffickers are being found and many being arrested. I'm seeing this all over different states as these enforcements are going out to find these little pockets, because this needs to stop in every aspect of this. But I will say this until the cows come home, that if clients are never arrested, this will never stop. So one thing that's really good, whether we get all the pages or not, is we are seeing names. So I always say knowledge is power. So what are we going to do with this knowledge, right? How are we going to use it? We continue to sit there and bring awareness to this. And many people do not even know that this stuff even exists, or can even acknowledge that this stuff even exists. And I'm telling you, this is not a hoax. This is very real. So regardless of what politician wants to play what side, the fact is this is a very serious and real issue. And this evil must end. With our voices, I always say, use your voices, be the change. With our knowledge and our voices, we need to keep crying for prosecutions and bringing these clients to justice so that they can face the crimes that they have done to our wonderful and beautiful children out there. I'll tell you right now, I've had it with the abuses on our children, whether it's from the womb, so we want to kill them there, or we want to sit there and vaccinate them to no end. We want to indoctrinate them in school. We want to take off their parts so that they know that they're not perfectly made. We want to make sure that they have no futures and no ways, to find a future. We don't want to teach them anything about how to live in this world and be a successful adult. And then we send them off to crazy colleges to get degrees that aren't even going to find them a future. And we wonder why our kids are all cracked up and a mess, because the fact, hey, let's talk about the chemicals on their foods. And hey, there's a pill for that. I mean, it seems every time we turn around, and then let's throw in trafficking on top of it. This is just such a nightmare. And me personally, I am so tired of our children being attacked. So I want to share some information with you guys just to show that, you know, I am not crazy. The first one here that I want to show you is from the Department of Public Safety, Homeland Security, just so everybody knows right here. We're just going to read the very top line here. A child goes missing every 40 seconds in the U.S., over 2,100 per day. In excess of 800,000 children are reported missing each year in our country. Another 500,000 go missing without ever being reported. This comes from the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, coming from the Department of Public Safety and Homeland Security. The next one I'm going to share with you guys is the list of missing children, because this is not just a U.S. problem. This is a global problem. Missing children statistics. One child missing is too many. And it starts with the smallest amount and goes to the largest amount. So Australia being 20,000, Canada 45,000, Germany 100,000, India 96,000, Jamaica 1,900, Russia 45,000, Spain 20,000. This is where it gets alarming. The United Kingdom 112,000, almost 113,000. And the most from our wonderful FBI of investigation, 460,000 children are reported missing every year. Every year. These are statistics that are just unbelievable. This is our own country. This is not migrant children. We know how many of those come in and are missing too. These are our own children. So from those two reports that I'm sharing with you right there, that goes to something that we're not even talking about here very often, is how many of our own children. If we're going to stop a problem and bring awareness, we need to start at home. And so it's really important. So when you deal with this kind of stuff, and like you said, like I said, when you have a front row seat to this life, being a survivor and adopting children that have gone through these tortures, what you guys are reading out there, my kids have gone through. And I adopted them almost over 18 or so years ago now. They're now adults. So when this is in your face, it hits you really hard. And there's no other, when your eyes are open, there's nothing else that you can do but be an advocate. And how do you find relief? You try to bring awareness. Some people say that we're crazy. Some people say, you know what, they're finally just waking up that this is real. And so, like I said before, you know, with the Epstein files coming out right now, no matter how they want to play it, some politicians now are like, hey, I need a GoFundMe. No, just do your job. I'm going to say the same thing to the administration. And it's not just this administration, because the last one didn't do anything either. And I'm not saying this one's not, because, you know, at least we have some names that vindicate us to the fact that we actually know that these names really do exist, even though many of us have gone down this rabbit hole before. But now we're vindicated to go, yeah, see, they're on the list. But what we need to see is we need to see them held accountable. We need to see prosecution. So I can only tell you guys to do all that you can to use your voices and be the change. And do not let this die. Keep it up, because every single child, one child, like I said, one child missing is one child too many. So please use your voices and be the change. So let's talk about this, because one of the greatest ways I have found to bring awareness, and I've seen this from all around the world, is through art. I've been to so many countries around this world, and it's a great way. Number one, is it's therapeutic, because what do you do when you have all of these emotions? How do you deal with it? Well, artwork can speak volumes, whether it's a pretty picture or it's a striking picture to catch your attention. And I have done so many statement pieces in my life to bring awareness to this. And most of my pieces that are statement pieces have been at multiple human trafficking events, headlined at many human trafficking events, because this is such a major issue. So I have a great friend that also has this. We're going to find out how she came upon this and found out her mission. But tonight we're going to be joined by another amazing artist in our wonderful Artist Corner family. We know her as Crusader of Truth. And she has powerful artwork that she has created to raise awareness as well. So everybody do me a favor, and please welcome to the stage here my great friend and advocate in this fight to save our children, Crusader of Truth. Hello.
Hi, thank you. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
A little nervous. Thank you for having me on again. It's truly an honor. I'm very humbled.
Well, I get really excited about this, and not like you guys might think like, oh, yay, excited about this. I get very passionate and very excited about this kind of situation because, you know, to some extent, like I said before, it's a vindication when you see this. And again, I don't like how they play with this because our children are not a commodity. This is not a joke. And I don't like them being used in any aspect. All I want to see is these people being held accountable on this earth. You know, I know in heaven they're going to be, but we want to see this because don't you agree? You don't want to live in a society where this is what we say is okay, it's normal, or this is done, we're moving on. Moving on. If we don't save our world for our children, then what are we doing? Right?
Exactly.
So how
You have to think about that too. The children, the future, they are our future.
That's right. That's absolutely right. How did you get involved in this fight?
I just kept seeing things about the children being trafficked and hearing about it. And I just, God just started impressing upon my heart how important it was. And I kept running across different images, and some of them I just captured and decided I was going to make drawings. And so I did. I started the drawings with those. Each one is different, and each one is something I've dreamt about. And it was so heavy on my heart, I didn't know any other way to get it out except on paper. So the drawings came about.
So I just want to talk to our audience because I hear a little bit about we're freezing on certain platforms. You guys, the evil is real. Both of us felt really ill today. We couldn't even hardly, you know, get ourselves to even be on here today because I'll tell you what, this does not want to be spoken about. And we're praying, everybody say your prayers because this has to be out. This has to be out. If we don't stand up and do something, you know, then what's the whole point? If we don't bring awareness, if we don't share, you know, I mean, I always tell people too, you don't have to share an image like what we're going to show you here today. You can share a beautiful picture of a child or make a meme or whatever and just save the children, keeping that hashtag alive, sharing things out there to continue to bring the awareness, because you know how many people out there are still in the dark or don't believe this is real. And, you know, it's crazy. I mean, now we're seeing it on both sides. We're starting to barely start to see it on the news, and they may be using it to go after this administration. But the fact is the situation's still real. The garbage that they may say or may not say, you know, I mean, let them investigate everybody. I don't know, you know, right? But the garbage you may say may not be true, but the situation of the child trafficking is very real. The torture is very real. I even read an article today that I had never seen before. And I was like, oh my gosh, what they had done to the children so they wouldn't bite them as they were trying to hurt these kids. I mean, this is very real. And it's not just about Epstein. He is just a tool, and an evil tool at that. But this is not stopped. This has been going around forever. You know, it's just getting more and more rampant. And if you don't think there's not more islands out there and these evil people out there are not, they're stopping, you're fooling yourself. Until, you know, we stand up or the world stands up and says, I have enough, you know, this probably will continue. And it might even continue even if we still stand up. That's the heartbreaking part about this. But I truly believe that if we take a client or two or whatever, those dominoes will start to fall. More than just the traffickers. I'm really thankful for that. But these big time clients that are ordering them like a menu, that needs to end.
I saw on the news yesterday, I think it was, a governor of Alabama signed into law children under the age of 12 that are abused, raped, whatever, or actually it will be capital punishment for those offenders. And I was very happy to hear that.
Right. I mean, we're talking about something that's against the law. How can nobody stand up for something that's already against the law? I mean, good luck going to prison. And that just goes to show you something right there, too. When you usually go to prison for this kind of crime, the inmates can't even handle it and usually end up taking you out, beating you up, doing something, I mean, unbelievable, because the sickest of murderers out there still don't want to have anything to do with pedophiles.
I agree.
Right? Absolutely disgusting. So there's something else I want to share before we get on to some artwork here. no, I don't want to join it. Oh, okay. Maybe it won't let me. But it was 70% of child trafficking victims are sold online. Sold online. And sorry, guys, because it's trying to block me right here. 70% of child sex trafficking victims are sold online. Parents, know this. You need to be sure you are really watching this. This was in 2014. Buying a child for sex online can be just as easy as selling your old couch or posting your resume. This is unbelievable. They found that this is mainly found in sites like Craigslist. Don't think that social medias aren't doing this, and are often used as tools for conducting business within the industry. Whoops, sorry. So, this is unbelievable. When we say you need to be aware of what your children are doing online, it's so important. What they're doing on social media, it's so important. With my kids who had gone through this, and then even after adopting, we went through almost 2 kidnapping attempts. I had these kids at 3, 5, and 7 inside shopping carts with me, holding on to us for dear life. Call me a little bit overprotective, but when you live this life, you get pretty overprotective. Right?
Yes. I think when you become aware of it, you start being more protective as well.
Right. And it's just absolutely unbelievable. And we're going to do all of our things that I can do to inspire you guys to, continue to be the voice, be the voices out there. And I love the hashtag, save the children, save our children. It's really, really important. So let's give you guys a little screenshot of what we've done, because through art, we have found a way to make this very important, and bring awareness to this kind of issue. Because if you guys can create art, or you can create a meme, or my guys today made promos that were unbelievable. Thank you, JJ and Frosty. Absolutely unbelievable. We can share this stuff out. So you guys want to see how God inspired her, and it's just amazing that God inspired you to create these things, without actually living and walking through this. So tell us about each one of these and what you saw, or what we're seeing here.
Well, the images you see are things that I saw posted on actual, maybe AI generated images or actual pictures. And so I wanted to recreate them in my own and add my own to them, because they spoke to me. And this one is, he's hiding, and there's a light, but he's trying to call someone on his phone. Help, call for help. That's what I see in there. And he's hiding and waiting for someone to rescue him.
It's amazing that he even has a phone.
Yeah.
To be honest, you're right.
Yeah.
I just these are going, just, a little FYI, you guys, discretion. These might not be images that you're 100% comfortable with, but she has been sharing these all over X, and I'm so excited. And probably in truth, I don't know what other social medias you are, but if you see these guys, absolutely help and share these posts out.
Well, I actually think about, when I look at this one, I have grandchildren. I have 7 grandchildren, and they have phones, and I could see one of them with their phone trying to call for help. I mean, this is, to me, could be a reality. I pray it never is, but.
Right. Because another statistic about being molested out there, usually it's from someone We're not even just talking about trafficking. Sometimes a lot, if you're just talking about rape by itself, it's usually someone
Correct.
So it's more than that. This is why, at the end, I'll show you, this is why I created one called rape culture, because it's just become this, or just trying to become something that's acceptable. I mean, they're even changing the wording in some country or some states. We're not going to call them pedophiles anymore. We're just going to call them minor attracted people. I mean, are you serious?
I saw that too. It just makes me sick.
Right? Doesn't it make you absolutely disgusting? And oh my gosh, Arkan John is over there giving out subscriptions to the show, my friend. Thank you so much for that and supporting the show. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, my friend. Yes, this is very powerful, very powerful. Why do you think that God got your spirit so lit up?
I don't know. He just occasionally does, and it just won't rest. I mean, I'm still working on images all the time. They're in my mind, and it's just can't hardly get it. Can't hardly get it out any other way. Just put it on paper, draw it.
Right.
Draw it.
Man, it is so hard. And you know, another thing about this coming up, it is so hard. Like I said, I mean, to some extent, I'm very grateful this is coming up, but it's also so hard because it stirs all of those emotions up again.
Well,
You know,
sure.
it's just like thinking about what my kids have gone through, thinking about what other kids are going through, thinking about these stories that they all called us conspiracy theorists, right? And then seeing these
Correct.
literally live in emails. And I don't know if you guys have read these or even saw these, but when they talk about these tortures and these different kinds of methods that they're doing to these kids, I literally have totes full of this. I've read this firsthand.
The panda eyes. That's
what this
covered
one
the
is.
eyes because I didn't want to see the panda eyes. I even in my artwork, it's something I don't want to think about. But it's a reality, and it's sad and hard to look at. It's hard to imagine. But if I can imagine it, just think what the children are going through, and we have to stand up for them. We have to stand up for them. Nobody else will.
Right.
That's why we have a voice, and we need to raise it.
That's right. Because they don't, whether they are being abused by family members or they're being trafficked, they do not have these voices. So the minimal that we can do is pray that God sends angels to surround them.
Exactly.
Surround them. Whether they're going through this or not, they are under attack by our world. Like I said, guys, from the womb on. And our children are not a commodity, and they are not a joke. And this is not something that, we need to just brush underneath there. And if this has not happened to you and your family, praise God. But it's happening to somebody else. Again, guys, from that report from Department of Public Homeland Security, a child goes missing every 40 seconds in our country. 2,100 per day. 500,000 that aren't even accounted for.
Yes, and the things that I'm reading in some of those files, it's hard to even read, even though I'd heard it before. Some of them are used for sacrifice, and it's satanic. It's awful.
Yes, it is absolutely. And I don't like to be vindicated in this truth. I there's a part of me that's just, if this wasn't something I actually lived and rescued myself, I would be like, oh, I don't want to. I want to put my head down. I don't want to admit that this is real because it's so hard to deal with. But it's very real.
Well, we want to be drawing pretty things and painting flowers and butterflies and, rainbows. And this has to come out. People have to know. We can't help them if we don't.
That's right. And what's the number one thing that they tell children? And this picture definitely talks about that. And they're always telling these children these things.
Do not tell. Do not tell. Don't speak. Don't say anything. Or I'll hurt you. I'll hurt your family. I'll hurt your friends. I'll hurt your brother. I'll hurt your mother. So they tell them to be quiet. So they pretty much, that's what it would be like, I think. He's trying to talk. But.
Right. And, I don't want to read them all, but, there are massive people that are putting these out there and from all over, the place. And I don't know, the fact is, like I said, they're screaming from all sides. If anybody's going to unite on something, it should be over our children.
Absolutely.
Not only in our nation, but the world. Because, right. And somebody was talking today because they obviously they were getting bitten by the children. So they would have their teeth removed.
So hard.
And you're like, I had not heard that story. It does not surprise me, but I had not heard that story. And I'm like, unbelievable. The torture that they put these children through.
I know it's horrendous. It's heinous. It's demonic. There's just no other way. No human being that didn't have something evil inside could do that to a child. I just don't understand it. I can't wrap my head around it. It's just
Right.
too much.
Right. Absolutely. And I mean, I've seen this, like I said, when you have these big podcasters, I've seen like Joe Rogan's, like, it's like literally demonic human beings are running the world. We're now seeing that they're torturing, they're eating them, they're whatever. It is like unbelievable. And we're protecting these people.
That's what I don't understand. How can you protect them unless some of them are high up and they don't? They're also being, I guess, bribed or threatened or whatever to keep their mouths shut. But, at some point you've got to just say, draw a line in the sand. I'm sorry, but I'm not going any further. This is what I'm going to stand up for. And this is my hill to die on, children.
Exactly.
Save the children.
I'm with you on that. I am absolutely with you with that, because what I worry about is once you have this knowledge and I die, it's like, okay, God gave me the knowledge. He protected me to save 3 kids. And he's like, so what did you do with the rest of it? Did you just bury your head in the sand and do nothing? And
No,
I can't live with that.
me either.
I can't live with that. Unbelievable. These are so powerful. Each one of these images are so powerful. How long, this is going to really surprise you guys. How long does it take you to do one of these?
I did that one in less than 2 hours, even with all the detail. My heart was pounding. I was crying, and I just couldn't stop. Once I picked up the charcoal, it was just, I couldn't stop till it was done. Took me a couple of hours. Yeah, I'm with you on the wood chipper. I agree.
Right. I know it says in the Bible that you should have a millstone and down to the bottoms of the ocean. I don't know. That's me. And that's probably why I'm not God, because I'm like, I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough. I think you should have to go through some kind of torture, as you've done, kind of eye for an eye situation here.
Yeah, I'm
And,
with you
again, that's why I'm not God.
I agree.
Because
I can't do it. If it was one of mine, I would just, whatever happened to me would be fine, but you won't do that to my kid. You won't get away with it.
And having to protect that, I can't even tell you the hell. We'll get to that when we get to mine. The hell that I went through.
I can't even imagine.
It is horrifying. It's amazing that this is somebody who's just got inspired by God and stood up and found a way to speak for the kids without being on the street screaming like a banshee. Because through art, like I said, I have been to multiple different countries around the world. Art speaks volumes. People,
Yeah, you think about how people and their religion, whatever religion, it's all artwork. That's how they get it out there. That's how they portray it. Well, to me, this is how I portray what I see, what I hear, what I think, and what I feel that God has led me to. And that is to save the children and to make sure that people know that this is real and it really is happening. And we have to stand up for the kids. We have to.
Yes, have to. Because again, our innocent and are under attack. And you got to keep on saying, whether you agree again with whoever, social media influencer or whatever politician. I mean, it's, most of that kind of can be noise, but just, if anything, thank God it's out there. Thank God it's trending, and thank God, hopefully this will light a fire under enough people that we just start demanding this and we don't let it die. I don't care who says what. We need to stand as a people saying no more to this. No more.
Yeah, I don't want to move on. I don't want to move on because it was boring, or move on because, it's enough, or whatever. We've already know it's happening, so let's move on. No, these people need to pay for what they've done and still doing.
Right.
It's
I don't want to hear, right. I don't want to hear that the stock market is up when you're being questioned, right? I could care less.
I could care less.
Nothing more matters to me because, you know, I think this was I think this is accurate. I didn't watch the whole thing, but when asked, she's like, if I literally went after everybody on that list, the whole system would crumble. Don't you understand? That's what we're praying for.
That
We
is
want the
exactly what
evil
I'm
to
praying
crumble.
for. Me too. I want it
Right?
to fall. I mean,
Let
what's the
it
worst that can
crumble.
happen? We need a whole new system anyway. We need a new government. All of ours is corrupt. And they're part of this. Some of them are linked to this, and I don't care if it falls. I don't care. God got us where we are now. He'll get us right back.
I
You
mean,
know,
it's
He gave
kind
us
of
this country.
right. Go ahead.
He gave us this country. We're a Christian nation. We were founded as a Christian nation, and we need to be Christian. And this is not Christian. This is not standing up for what is right. And we
Right.
cannot just put it aside and think, you know, God's going to help. God's going to take care of it. Well, He put us out here to take care of some of these things. We need to take care of it. This falls
Right.
on us.
Right. That's why I say when I die and he looks at me, he said, you had the knowledge. What'd you do?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? You know, I mean,
Exactly.
it's kind of like, you know, that whole faith without works is dead kind of situation. You know, I expect you guys to stand. And, you know, I do not care if I'm taken out, if I'm fighting to save the children. I do not care. I know what my reward will be. I have a great clip that I'm going to share with even Jim Caviezel, who said the same thing. He goes, I don't care about
Yes.
fame or fortune. I care about my place in heaven.
Yep. That's what we all need to care about. It's coming
Right?
sooner than we think.
Yeah. Like I said, I will not be upset if God says, I've had enough, you know, too much evil, because it's really bad. And I don't want to move on. I don't want to think this is a joke. I want to see, you know, these people. And it's kind of like, you know, with rape, for instance, if you aren't the one that's raping, but you're literally watching, or you know somebody did and you say nothing, aren't you just as guilty almost?
Well, you're complicit. You're allowing it. Your silence is allowing it. Your do nothing attitude is allowing it. We're all here to do our part, and this is our part.
They call that co-conspirators. I mean, think about that. Somebody robbed a bank, but you didn't, but you were helping plan it. You're a co-conspirator.
Or you drove the car.
Right, exactly. Sorry, you drove the getaway car. You are just as much responsible, you know, and will be prosecuted. So where are these people? And I mean, yeah, there's no time. That's another thing too. There's no time, because if things switch on us, then you've only had the year to make action and make waves. And yes, I know that this is, you know, just didn't start now. And I'm really thankful that things are getting out there. Trust me when I say that, because we are seeing proof that is proving that what we know and the names we know, we're not crazy. They're really in the emails. So I am really grateful for that. And I don't know if I care if the rest of them come out, because what I want to see is people being arrested. I want the clients and the menu to stop.
Me too. And I do want them arrested. I want all of them arrested.
Right.
They need to pay. This
agree.
can't go on. This can't go on. If they would start arresting people, then some of this would be a deterrent. They would say, "Uh-oh, they mean business now. It's time."
Right. When we see that doesn't matter your status, you can still be prosecuted, then we can start seeing that. I mean, it just even be one, because I know they have to build a case, but just you have this many emails, you have this much information, and nobody from that list is being indicted. Not one.
It's unbelievable.
I agree, Arkin John. Everyone needs to email the president. Everyone needs to hashtag or tag the president in here. Let him know that his legacy, and I read this today, his legacy will be known as a failure for not doing anything about the Epstein list if he doesn't come out and say, all right, let's take someone down. He talks about the swamp. And if you say that if you get these people on the list and the whole system will go down, well, he knows it's a swamp. So let's drain the swamp. How many of us have been screaming, drain the swamp? And again, I know this fell on his lap, and this has gone through multiple different administrations, and we know they're not going to do anything. Most of them are already on the list. Every single administrator before him in the last decades, from the Bushes on, are on that list, because they just dropped that.
That's right. They were.
So stand up, do something. See something, say something. This one I have not seen before. Is this a new one?
No, It's part of the original ones. I guess I just didn't get it to you before, but yeah, I did that one about the same time. All of these were done in about the same time frame.
It's just so heartbreaking. This is a great way, you guys, you know, AI, what a time to use AI.
Yeah,
Again, it doesn't always have to be this scary of a picture. You know, I don't mind if you guys do. I know a lot of you do this, but sometimes it might be hard. You're like, I don't want to share out something like this. You know, it's hard. You know, when I post my artwork and I get only like 2 or 3 likes on it, you know, it's hard to look at. But doesn't mean the
hard.
message
It's hard for me to look at them, and my children see them, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, can't you draw something prettier?" This is, but they understand now. They really do. They do understand it, and they're all for it. They back me.
What they say when you were first doing this? Do they believe in these stories?
I didn't show them until I had completed the series, because I do have 7 grandchildren, and I did tell one of my daughter-in-laws. We went out to dinner one night, and they thought one of my grandchildren was with me, and I thought he was with them. And I just happened to walk out by the door, and I saw him standing by the music machine, and 2 ladies were standing there, and they're like, "Do you know that kid?" I said, "Yes, that's my grandson." She said, "Well, we didn't want to leave. We've been standing here afraid someone would take him." So I'm like, "Thank you." And I just started crying, and I told my girls, I said, "I cannot believe you left him." "Well, we thought he was with you." "Well, I thought he was with you." And so that's how it happens. And you have people targeting and watching, and they could take him. And so I was just thankful that those 2 ladies were at the end, you know, they're in the restaurant by the bar, just waiting till someone came out to get him.
Wow.
It was, yeah. And so I told my girls, I said, "This is why I do this. This is why I'm doing this. Your kids are not safe. Do not let them go to the neighbor's house in the front yard. Make sure you see them walk in the door. Make sure you bring them back." People are walking around looking, like the Bible says, Satan is roaming around to and fro like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Well, this is exactly who he was talking about.
Right.
And we have to be vigilant. We have to be careful. And
I would tell that to my mom, who loved Disneyland. And so she was like, "Oh, just let the kids just run. The little kids just run. They can go where they want to." I go, "Mom, don't you understand this is like a pedophile's playground? They're just looking for that moment because they know that multiple kids are there."
Well,
and
it's so difficult. Yeah, and it's so difficult for people like your mom's age or other people. They don't think that way. So you don't think that way. You think we're safe, you know, but safety is an illusion. It's an illusion. We're not safe. We're not secure. There is no such thing. So you pray for your kids, you pray for a hedge around them, you pray God protects them, and you pray that you can get the word out so someone will do something about these people.
Right. Exactly. Because I mean, we're learning about, I don't know if you guys saw that. I haven't really deep dived into this information, but they say that even Life Touch was somewhat involved. It was mentioned in these emails, and these are what are taking pictures of your children at school. And I mean, I did the research, and I know that they are like a menu, guys, and you'll see that in my very last painting because I will talk about that. And I did the research, and I know that they use this like a menu. These elite literally go, "I want this person, this color, this age, this whatever," and it's like a menu. And so then when you see these emails about the Life Touch, you know, school books, picture books, you're like, "Oh my gosh, is that what they're using?" Like, yeah, that kid. Next, you know, that kid goes missing. I mean,
I saw that too. That just made me sick. And then you think about they're playing these games, and there's cameras there on your, like we're on camera right now. Of course, we turn it on, but I think on those games, I don't think you have a choice. I think it can pick up. And then people are facial recognition. "Oh, there he is. I found him. This is the one I wanted. Can you get him for me?" Yeah, no.
Right. Those you trust the most. Exactly. Amber Alert ran by these people as well.
Yep.
That's what Frosty says. It's just the more we're finding out. And again, for some of us or many of us, I don't know where you guys are on this. Maybe it's brand new information. We are streaming on things, but some people like my parents. I was just talking to my dad about this the other day, and he's like, "Well, thank heavens for ICE." I go, "Well, Dad, I mean, ICE and stuff is getting rid of and deporting these nasty people who are raping girls and whatever, and I don't think that that's bad. Awesome, okay, but that is not the clients on the Epstein list." And my dad couldn't even put those two together. He's like, "They're not." And I'm like, no, that's a whole nother dragon over here, Dad. And I'm sure it's all tied to the same thing because, where are all the migrant children? This is a world problem, right? How many children do they need? That's just the most disgusting. And a lot of them are trafficked through our country. And so, yes, that needs to stop. Funneling the kids through, that needs to stop. Our kids in this country are missing, that needs to stop. And who's to say, I mean, in other countries, I just read, in United Kingdom, over 113,000 children there go missing every year, according to their version of FBI. Ours say 400,000. The Department of Homeland Security says 800,000.
It's unbelievable. It's horrific. I just can't even. That's a lot of kids.
It is. And where do they all go? I mean, I understand that a lot of it is in the, like child labor as well, too, guys. Don't think that that's not a huge part of it, too. I know it is. But between the two of sexual abuses and or child labor, it's just a funnel of absolute evil. And yes, Jesus, please save the children.
Absolutely. That's my prayer.
Oh, my goodness.
Always my prayer.
These are so striking. I mean, you're an amazing artist, you guys. You need to really, truly check out her work. She does other things too, but these are so amazing. Each one of these, and they're meant to catch your attention and make you go, what the heck? Please don't turn away from these pieces. Relish in the absolute magnificence of them as well too, because look at the water of these things. I mean, there really is a lot of work and emotion that goes into each one of these works.
Hard to tell if those are tears or water, right? It's both.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is, yes, exactly. Welcome, new viewers. And I agree. This is absolutely heartbreaking. And I just wanted to literally show you guys these. These are wonderful. If you see them again, they're going out there. You have your own. Please make sure that you continue to share these out. Share the words. Hashtag save the children. Hashtag save our children. And yes, this piece is so fabulous. So well done. Amen. And save the children. Just amazing. Amazing. This one here, I know that you did in collaboration with our beautiful and wonderful Kim, and who's in the chat. Hello, sweet Kim.
Yes, that one was probably the last of that series. I started drawing it, and if you'll notice the light in the center between the two, it wasn't there that night. And Kim was visiting and helping with my mom. And that morning I got up. She had taken a picture of it that night. And that morning I got up and I was in there like at 4 o'clock trying to finish. And I thought I left Holy Spirit out. So I went back in and did the light, added the light. And then I came out and told her. So she took a picture of me the night before. And there's actually an image of a light wrapped around my head as I was drawing that piece. It made me cry. It was like confirmation.
Right.
It was meant to be.
And when you guys get that inspiration, when you feel that touch from God saying you need to do something, please, please, please don't ignore that, whatever that might be, because that's him talking to you going, I need you to do this. I trust in you to do this.
Right.
I need you to go down this path, the best that you can, do the best that you can, and again, through artwork, you guys, you can bring so much awareness to some of the most horrific things, and it's unbelievable. This is a beautiful image. But what does it say, guys? Save the children.
I think it's true that saying a picture's worth 1,000 words. So if you look at all of these, it truly is worth 1,000 words. It explains so much you don't even have to have words. It just puts it right out there for you.
Right.
So that's
And if
God's hand, saving the children through whatever means.
that's right. And this is something that we can all do. Maybe you're like, this is just too hard for me to deal with. Maybe that's not your path per se. But you know what? Again, you can share out an image like this. It's something you can actually look at and look at how beautifully done this is. It doesn't even have to say save the children to just be an amazing, beautiful image, right? Because it is, the Savior touching the baby's hand. And we can all pray for angels to surround our children, all our children. They need multiple amounts. They need an army of angels.
Amen.
We need to pray to put the armor of God on our babies because they're walking in a battlefield that they don't even know exists.
Amen.
Absolute innocence.
So true.
Right? I mean, think about that. If you were going to hurt God and you can't physically hurt God, right? We already lost a battle. Think about this, right? Satan's already lost a battle. He got cast out. He's down here playing with us, right? And so what do you think? The number one thing he's going to do to hurt God? Go after the innocent.
Right. So I think about, God became flesh. Christ and was born of a virgin and was an infant. So you think about how vulnerable he was at that stage and as he grew up.
Right.
You just got to know that God is watching over us, but we also need to pray for all the children, and we need to use our voices for them.
Right. Because even as this is getting exposed, know this, that it's not stopping.
No, it isn't.
Jeffrey Epstein, maybe dead, maybe not. I don't know. I don't care. But he's not the only one that does it.
He's not the only one.
Right. Think about the traffickers. And I always say this too, okay, they're like the mules that are carrying the drugs too. You take a few of those down, the cartels just find more. They'll just go threaten another village, basically say, either work for us or we kill the family. I mean, whatever tactics they use to get more people to carry the stuff, carry the kids, carry the drugs, whatever. I mean, they're mules. And they're funneling this stuff. But I mean, Epstein was dead. And next thing you know, during this open border season, we lose 350,000 migrant children.
Yeah.
So it's proof right there. This is not stopping.
It hasn't stopped. It's not going to stop till somebody has to start paying.
That's right. That's why it's so important that the clients face some kind of justice.
They have to.
That's right.
They have to.
This is another one that's so beautiful. Why her? Just out of curiosity.
I tried to do a lot from different ethnicities because I thought it was important, because it's not just one race is not being trafficked. Every race is being targeted. And the tear in her eye and the cross in her eyes, it's giving her hope.
This is a hard one for me to see because the email that's going around a lot, and if you guys have not seen this, it's of the email of the little girl who was being tortured and abused on this Epstein email and literally praying to Jesus for Jesus to come, and they're making fun of her.
I haven't seen that.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I could. This is hard.
Isn't it? I mean, it's mortifying. It's mortifying that they think this is just so fun and so much, again,
it's demonic.
Soulless, right? It was more than soulless. They have been literally engulfed by the most evil of demons.
It is evil.
And so when I see this little girl crying with the crosses in her eye, it just totally reminded me of that email.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, because this is not acceptable. This is not funny. This is not whatever. And, again, I'm really glad that people are able to go search this, and more power to the ones that can actually go read all these. You can go and read these for yourself, you guys, on the DOJ sites if you have enough. But no, thank you. When I was reading my kids' files, I could only get get through about a fourth of them before I thought I was going to have a heart attack, because I was reading the same kind of stuff.
Well, it's every race is being targeted. We have everyone. They don't care who it is, as long as it's someone appeals to them. It's sickening. It's disgusting.
It is.
Tears me up too. It tears me up. I agree. But I think about that too. Something happened to me when I was young, and all I could think about was, God, when is it going to be over? And are you going to help? Are you going to rescue me? That's what I see in her eyes.
Been there, lived that.
Yeah.
And like I said, we'll get on to my work here in a minute. You guys will hear a lot more about why this is so passionate to me personally. But you may not want to hang out for that story. But yes, children are innocent. God will please love the babies. Right. Exactly. I hope they have a special place. I hope it's just again, eye for an eye. And this is why I'm not God, and this is why I'm not a judge. But if it was up to me, oh my heavens, do unto others as you want done unto yourself, kind of thing. I have to chuckle about it, guys, because I'm just going to cry my eyes out, and I'm trying to carry on here. But I agree with you guys that are here so much in the chat with me. And I'm glad to see that you guys are all about this as well, and that you're fighters and you're vigilant about saving our children. I'm so happy to see that, because you guys, we all need to do this together. One person alone cannot do this. This is going to take many, many, many of us, like an army of child protectors out here fighting this, guys. This is one of the reasons I'm so happy that this is out there, that it's streaming on social medias. And trust me when I say that, my son has nothing to do with politics whatsoever. He loves TikTok for other things, right? And he never gets politics. And he's like, the Epstein files are filling up over there on his feeds. So it's everywhere. The algorithm, he's like, I just out of nowhere. I'm like, good. He can't read it. He lived it. But, I mean, he's seeing it. So this means it's out there on all the different social medias trying to awake the masses. And maybe that's what it's going to take to say, we are a republic. Don't we all forget that we're a republic and we're the ones that you work for?
Our voices matter. We just have forgotten, because they haven't mattered in so long, because we've been silent. We can't be silent anymore. There's no more silence. Silence is not golden. We have to speak out.
That's right. This is the last one of yours, and I know this is the collaboration one, but
Kim and I did that. Yes. I wish she could voice it. Kimmy, if you're there, make a note. I started a painting and she finished. She added that to it. It was like silence. I think that's silencing the voice.
Yeah.
That particular child in that painting was trying to change her sex from a girl to a boy. She's very confused, and it's a real person, someone I know very well. That's her child, and we spent a lot of time praying for her. And her little girl's name is Anna, and she's going through the transgender dilemma, I guess you would call. She's very confused. She's about 14 now, and it's just a daily war, a daily battle for her and her mom.
This is what I'm trying to bring, somewhat of awareness. Yes, do we want our kids trafficked? Do we want our kids raped and tortured? And do we have to protect and watch out for the creeps in the schools, and the creeps in the streets, and the creeps in our churches, the creeps because it's usually by someone you might even think, or those moments when you're at a theme park. I mean, you have to literally be protecting your kids and knowing where they are at all moments. We're going to have to be absolute sharks when it comes to their web life and their social medias. But it goes beyond that, because like I said, from the womb, I mean, they want to almost kill our kids, I mean, go ahead and have an abortion almost all the way up till birth, right?
Well, because
they were fighting for it for even after birth in some crazy places like California. Yeah. And then we got to kill them with the chemicals in the food. We got to make sure they're all vaccinated up and have autism. And then we got to completely confuse them starting at 3 years old with this transgender. You were born anything you want to. Maybe you were born in the wrong body. Hey, go ahead and cut off these parts. We're going to put you on blockers. There's a pill for this. Yeah. We're going to teach you about being emotional. Heaven forbid you have any critical thinking and you can read.
I agree. It's they're after the children. The children are the target.
Mm-hmm.
They've been targeting everyone's children in every way, shape, and form.
Right. Right.
They're just
And
not safe.
right. In this report I was reading about here, and I'll put this one here. It's from a state government report here about protection of our kids. It was talking about, this report was from 2022, talking about all the cases that they had open just in 2022. Over the DOJ in 2022, guys, had 16,000 open trafficking cases. And they're like, the ones that are really being targeted now, of course, are the LGBTQ children. Wonder why. They're so messed up and they don't know whether they're going or coming, and who they love, who they don't love. They're all depressed, they're suicidal, they're so whacked out now.
Well, they're more vulnerable.
Exactly. So not only are we going to indoctrinate them, we're going to make sure that now you're the highest risk for being taken and trafficked. Oh, this is so evil. It goes so deep. I mean, I don't understand how this cannot be a mandatory priority.
I don't know either. We have to demand it.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Kim says she is here, and she says it's the violence of silence.
I couldn't remember how she titled that, but yes, you are right. The violence of silence.
That's right. I love the collaboration too, because, that's things that we can do. You guys, I mean, and it's more than just art. Maybe someone creates a painting, somebody does poetry, somebody creates a song, somebody can create there's so many ways that you guys can share that impact others. Think about, like, which we're going to play at the end, right? We Are the World. When you think about that with this kind of tone in mind, and this kind of advocacy, it's just amazing what you can do to bring more awareness, bring people to understand, help them get encouraged and inspired or shocked to the point where, like, I've got to make a difference.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson songs are coming through my brain, right? Absolutely, you guys. I agree. This is absolutely amazing and powerful. So, my friend, I don't know if you want to stay here for the rest of the art and talk with me about it. I know that you have been attacked really hard today.
Yeah, you go ahead. I will listen in, but I will bid you adieu. Thank you so much for having me on, and thank you everyone out there who's.
Tell everybody where to find them so that they can follow you and help share out your
I'm on Truth Social. That's just probably the only place I really post them right now. I'm working on something. When I get it done, I'll let you guys know. Another site.
Right. And you guys, she was our artist of the day today. So if you're in our group on Truth Social, you can find, or X, you guys will find her handles there. So you guys go make sure, if you're not there, you can join our wonderful group. Go give her a congratulations for being our artist spotlight of today as well. Follow her and help her, because we all need each other, right, to work on this pathway and this mission.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure. And thank you so much for joining me, my friend. God bless. And I will be there right there in the fire with you.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Wasn't that awesome? These are so powerful. And I don't know. I'm just going to give me 1 second. I did invite someone else, and I'm just letting them know that if they want to join, then they can. They do have the link for that. If they want to come in, we can kind of talk about the next artwork here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this here so I can share a few things with you guys, and then we'll back to my art. But, some things I've been saving, I think is really, really great because I've been sharing them out on X, but I love a few people and the words they have. So Nick Frida's, it's amazing what he said. And so let's share that out right now here so you guys can see it. I have a way to move on.
Whenever somebody says that maybe it's time to move on from the Epstein files, I'm always like, great. I totally agree. I think we should have moved on to the public execution phase of this a long time ago. So, like, what's the holdup? Do we not have enough wood chippers? and I'll donate.
Yeah.
You know, whenever somebody says
Where's
that
the
maybe
GoFundMe
it's
for
time
this?
to move on from the
I'll donate to the wood chippers. Where's the GoFundMe? Sign me up right now. I'd like to see this too. Go Nick Freitas. I think that was really awesome. Another one here, John Rich. Love this too. There's some really good names that are coming out with this. Oh, I want to tell you what he says first. He says, there's a reason. This, by the way, is the list that came out. I'll share that out with you guys as well too, if you want to see that. But John Rich says, there's a reason you can put the horse back in the barn. It's a phrase. Whatever we've seen in the Epstein files has left a permanent mark. Return these devils to the dust from whence they came. And that's what he said. Right? Who wants to donate to this? Where's the GoFundMe? I'm serious. I don't want to hear about the GoFundMe because you need money with, whatever politicians like, help me fight this fight. Send me GoFundMe. You are an elected congressman. This is your job. You don't need a GoFundMe to do this. But if you got a GoFundMe for the wood chippers and the public prosecutions, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Oh, my bell. I am on fire tonight. I'm trying, you guys. One thing here too, Joe Rogan as well over here. Just quickly here, like he says, literally demonic human beings that are running the world and don't give a about human lives. It's so sick. Let's just take a second.
This is the one that I hate the most. Yeah. Because this one scares the shit out of me. Because the fear of, we talked about this yesterday with Roger Avery, the fear of these like literally demonic human beings that are running the world and don't give a fuck about human lives and enjoy watching people being tortured, enjoy watching people killed, participating in ritual sacrifice of people. And they do it in order to show that you're a part of a team and we know that has always historically been a real thing. And it's been something that you look at in history, you go, God, it's so sick. It's so twisted. It's so disgusting. And everybody wants to think, thank God that's not happening now. But then when you realize like that might have been happening now. Here's one of the craziest ones. The day he was indicted.
Frosty, I don't know if you just saw the chat. Thank you so much, RK John. Wow. That is so appreciated. You have no idea. Wow. Thank you. I'm speechless. Thank you so much for supporting me and my efforts. That means the world to me. And I'm speechless. Wow. Let's bring in a great friend of mine. Let me catch my breath here for a minute. Let's bring in a great friend of mine.
Hello.
Did you just see that?
Yeah, I did. How amazing is that? Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Right? Thank you so much.
You have wonderful viewers.
Yes, I do.
And we're kind of all in this fight together.
Exactly. And this is, like I said, this show was going to be really, really hard on me. And I asked you to come in and I knew the demons were after me. They were after our great friend, Crusader of Truth. But, I was like, I need somebody to kind of help me through these next pieces that I'm going to show you guys because I've walked this path more than probably you guys can even imagine. And maybe you don't know, you're just getting to know me. And so my great friend who interviewed me before, and we replayed that last night, if you guys all saw, it's like, we got to get Frosty on here because he might make me smile, but he'll definitely get me through this next part of our artwork. Right?
Right.
I'm counting on you, my friend.
I'll be
here. Welcome, Frosty, as he's literally going to save our day here.
Okay.
Get
through it together.
We are going to get through it together. And again, now that I've Another huge shout out to our wonderful new viewer and our new family member over there, Arcade John. Thank you so much for that. That means really the world to me. And I just can't tell you how grateful I am that you were part of our wonderful community. And I'm so glad you found us. And more than just even the donation, that took my breath away. But I'm really happy that you found us in general, you know, and Cask is new too. But just really happy that you guys are joining this wonderful, wonderful community they have, because together, you guys, we are going to make a difference.
We are.
That's right. So
it's great to see new viewers. It's great to have them show up and be a part of the family.
Right? That's the whole point of God having me do this podcast. If you guys don't know, I didn't want to do a podcast, you know, but after being paralyzed and going through all this and getting healed and whatever, he's like, you got something to say. And I blew him off, you guys. I tell you what, I don't do this very often. I'm like, podcast, right? And so then he started bugging my husband. He was like, I think that God wants you to do a podcast. So here we are 3 years later, but I keep hearing the words in my brain, build a community. Build a community, build a community. You guys are going to need each other. So through the art world and through the podcast, here we are all finding each other. And I'm truly grateful for that.
Absolutely.
So, all right, my friend, deep breath. That's what, thank you, my friend. Oh, welcome. Let's do this. Everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got the amazing Frosty Pimp in the house. Thank you guys for welcoming him to the show, because he's going to help me get through this. And Frosty Pimp.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So this is, we're going to walk through some of my experience. Frosty, do you have any questions for me? You want me to just go?
Yeah. I was kind of curious at the inspiration of a lot of these. I have further questions, but it seems like a good starting point.
Okay. So not only did I go through violence when I was 16, y'all, okay? And I had a church basically turn against me and use my name on Sunday service and blame me for being raped. And I ran away, ended up living in my car and finding a pathway through horrible things like drugs and jobs and whatever, until I hit my personal bottom a few years later and pulled myself out of that, started finding a way and finding a path and going through this horribleness. You know, this wasn't a time where, you know, there was no, you kind of like go to the police. I guess you could, you know, but not being believed and having even a church, you know, do that to you. It was hard. It's one of the things before my mom died, she said that she regretted the most is that happened to me, just so that you know where of a place where I have come from. So many, many, many years later, after I met my beautiful husband, he was a huge advocate in serving. You know, he's like, what do you want to do for service? You know, you think I love to serve one another. He loves to serve one another. He's like, so what do you think about being foster parents? I was convinced, you guys, I was chef for all these years. I was like, I don't want kids. I mean, that whole mentality that we grew up in our generation, like be a mom, they downplayed that so much. It was almost like horrific to be just a mom, right? When it's truly one of the best honors you could ever have. Well, because of that rape was so bad and so physically bad on my body, I was never able to have children. So I was like, foster, I don't know, you know, I don't know if I could do that. And he kind of talked me into that. I was like, okay, I could do that because, you know, it's kind of like babysitting and watching the kids. And I'm a great aunt, you know, I could do that. And so him being a nurse, he's like, we went for medically fragile, which means the most fragile children, right? The most severe disabilities and illnesses. And after we went through the 6 months of training, a few months later, we get this thing on Valentine's Day that there were 3 kids that were in emergency placement and they needed us to go pick them up. And so these 3 children, I went to pick them up and they were very tiny, you know, 3, 5, and 7. And my son was 25 pounds at 7 years old. He could basically hardly walk or feed himself, blind. They were also sick. I was handed bags and bags of medicines and told definitely that my son was going to die in a couple of weeks. And the girls all abused, all through this kind of stuff. But being their foster parents, I didn't know the in details of this until, you know, we started going through like visitations, and we went through multiple different caseworkers, multiple different supervision. They're supposed to be on supervised visitations and things like that. The kids were getting poisoned during visitations. The kids would scream when it was the dad's turn because he was violating them as their supervision was like sleeping in the car or just dropping them off. I mean, that's why we went through so many, because I was like, I'm not taking this. And I had to journal this every single time, take pictures of all their bruises and their hurt. And so I didn't know how to deal with this. And so I started going to community college because it's more than just even that. They have a real rare disorder. So I had to bleach down the house every single day. I mean, we're talking the walls, their bedding, their toys, or whatever. They couldn't share, they couldn't touch. They had 5 to 10 different medications that we had to put on them. They even had to take bleach baths. They had no hair, teeth were falling out, severely abused, didn't trust us, had everything that you can, how do you deal with this? And then knowing that they're going on these visitations and they would scream bloody murder. So while they were gone for these 3 or 4 hours, I would just cry. I had to do this for 2 years, guys. So my husband talked to me, and we'd take, off and on for this. And so my husband was like, why don't you just go take some community college classes? Because I wasn't working at this time. I was a retired chef at this time, so I could dedicate my life full time to taking care of these kids. And so through art, I found a way that I could go through these emotions. So when I say art is therapy, to go through these emotions, and this is the first one that came up, and it is called Sorrow, and it is in reference to my son and all that he's gone through. And that is just kind of came out of me. I found oils, and it was a way for me to express that. I mean, the other one right here next to me is Rage. That was actually my first one, but the first one that was like a statement or emotion piece was basically these two, Rage and this one, which is called Sorrow, to express that he was sick, hence the green skin, right? His skin has got major issues with one of his ailments, right? Literally all this kind of stuff, and the sorrow and the anger and the torment he went through. This is what I tried to portray in this image.
The layers that it takes to paint a painting like that is almost like the layers that you have to go through emotionally to deal with something like that. Did you find that in the painting process? Did you actually go back through those layers?
Well, yeah, and I have a certain kind of a process. It was definitely like a beating almost. It was, these are huge, by the way. They are 36 by 48, so like 4 feet by 3 feet, size, and just be able to physically also release that energy, and to blend this. I do love, space. That's kind of part of it as well too. Trying to taking something I love and putting this into this as well. But yeah, putting those layers. And then also, you guys, I have to listen to music, because there's no way you're going to be listening to disco playing this, right? As you're over here going, oh my gosh, save the children, right? Let me tell you about their stories. There's no Happy Feet doing this. So it was real rewarding, but also moving through this. It's almost like I was able to release a certain emotion. And that's why they're probably titled this way. I was able to start releasing some of that sorrow through the artwork, because how do you even understand this? To me, there is no understanding of this. I'm just trying to cope and deal and be the best mom I could possibly be to these children at this time, while knowing that they're going through this every week, while knowing I have to do this for them every single day, trying to explain to a little, 3, 5, and 7-year-old what in the world's just happened to them. They've been through torture. They were left in trailers to die. They were, not fed. They were, starving. They were on death's bed. And how does a little one even understand that you've been abused and tortured? All you could see was this massive pain in his face. And I've got to deal with that too, as the adult, and try to help them heal. So yes, it was definitely through the layers and through the time and through this work, I am trying to heal as much as I'm trying to heal them.
Which leads me to wonder, when you're at peace with it, is that when you know it's finished? When you've gone through that process?
Well, as you can see, I'm not really at peace per se. But when I am done with this piece, I could tell you that I would found other ways that I can handle it, because as I'm creating and going through this, I'm finding ways to heal my kids at the same time, and so I'm starting to see changes and see light, because, for instance, I'm working with my kids with art as well too. And everything was black, and then you start seeing, they would see me with color. Oh, and they would start working with color, or, finding ways for them to deal with this too. But trying to be the stable person. So yeah, I guess almost you feel like it's over. It kind of like you're putting in the back of your mind and you're saying to yourself, I can accomplish this now and move forward. Does that make sense? You're not letting it go. It's kind of like a forgiving others, right? You don't forget, but
Right.
you know, you're forgiving the situation. You're able to move on. Yes.
Exactly. So when you mentioned how big they are, I can't see any other way to paint a painting like this than big.
No way. No way. I can't even imagine trying to put this much information on a tiny little 8x10. It just, there's no way. There's no way, because it's also, like I said, it's like a body experience, you know. And we had that guest on, remember, Brianna, talking about releasing trauma. And a lot of times you literally have to work that. It holds in your body. And so being able to work and move and release that physically is a lot of part of the healing process, right? And I definitely experienced that as I was going through each one of these.
Yeah. So the title of this,
Darkness.
Darkness.
Yeah, I gave her a different name today. I liked it. It was like the veil of, I can't remember what it was called, the veil of tears. And I looked that up, and that was really kind of cool, because it's like going through the valley of tears, knowing that there is darkness and suffering, but coming out on the other side, knowing that there will be heaven, you know, once you'll be in heaven, those will be released. I really love that. So I kind of gave her a little bit of a different title, because everyone's like darkness. But yeah, this one is for my daughter, who is literally the middle child, but she was technically took over the oldest role, because, like I said, my son was he's out of the kids, males are affected a lot worse than the females are with their illnesses, right? So him being so abused and so sick, she was the mom figure of this. And in fact, when they found him, she was trying to steal food to feed the other two, and he was 7 and the other one was 3. And so, but she was just surrounded with this, you know, and has the hardest time still, you know, dealing with this kind of situation, because so much being put on her, plus going through these kind of struggles, plus watching her siblings go through this. I mean, and then, right? I mean, how does a 5-year-old be the mom of the 3? And she was the one that would paint in black, and she was the one that would wait to the very last to even speak about it or accept this. And you could just see that darkness was just surrounding this poor, sweet baby, you know. And her logo, I call it now, her logo is a rainbow now, guys. I mean, you know, we worked through this, but again, how do I portray this feeling that I'm seeing surrounding these children, you know, and surrounding her, and understanding this? It was like it was swallowing her up, and having to fight through that kind of emotion.
Is there an emotional point? This is shaded blue.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any connotations to the blue shading in this to your emotions?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, a lot of people say blue is a calming color for them, but, and I do, I love myself some blue too, but to me, blue can also be a very sorrowful one, right? Kind of like the green with the sickness, and blue for, you know, these dark, overwhelming hues. It absolutely was a choice, with the dark greens, the dark blues and purples. To me, just kind of really portrayed this kind of sense that was going on in this picture.
Now, we're talking a lot about currently what's going on and what we're discovering about our children,
Mm-hmm.
and about how they're being abused in the worst ways. There is going to be a lot more that comes of people understanding and having a hard time dealing with what is taking place. There will be a lot of people blaming themselves, and there will be a lot of recovery for a lot of people. Do you think now that your artwork will be part of that healing process, now that people are being forced to look and see what's really going
on? I think it's very much a great advocate for sharing the word, you know, because art has a way, whether it's taking us on a vacation or stopping to go, what in the world's going on here? And that's why I call them statement pieces, because people might say from afar, oh, how beautiful. But the closer you get to it, you're like, what's the message going on here? It captures you. It makes you think. It makes you question. You know, I don't have to sit there and give you a narrative per se if the artwork is speaking for you. And I hope that it's in many more shows, especially right now, you know, because we need to just continue bringing awareness. But this one here is, you know, this is not something that's brand new. You know, the next two have nothing to do with currently. You know, this one here is off of what was called Comfort Women that I had, you know, a family member kind of go through. What happened with World War II and in Japan, where they took over 250,000 young girls, threw them into cages and used them as sex slaves for the military and did torturous things to them. So this is not brand new.
No. But, you know, I think that what is taking place today, well, there's always been this, and it is that we're just now starting to understand and realize. And I think that these pieces, even though they can obviously pertain to any point in time, I think there will be a new set of eyes,
right,
on your artwork and others, and it's not going to be as much of that. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to acknowledge it. I think that it has to be something that everybody looks at. I think it has to be something that we are forced to understand and educate ourselves on, is that there is this kind of evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that artwork like this will play a part in a lot of those people's recovery.
Right. I mean, think about how many victims, you know, how hard it is for victims to even come forward. You know, whether it's just being raped by a family member or whatever, or just being raped by strangers. It took me forever, you guys. I wouldn't even talk about it until I was in my 30s, just so you know. Right. And having to go through that trauma, knew it happened, but not even coming forward to even telling others, you know. So how many victims are out there that don't want to come forward or threatened? I mean, we talked about this earlier, you know, with Crusader stuff. I mean, these little kids are told, you better not say anything.
Right.
You know, whether it's your family or some client off of Epstein's list, I promise you, they are being threatened and silenced in ways, or we'll just take you out or take your family out. So, yeah, so maybe this will empower people. And I always say, let's be the generation that this stuff stops. I mean, come on, Gen Xers, let's be the force in the army that says, okay, enough. I mean, we were raised hardcore guys, right? You know, I mean, let's be the ones that are saying, okay, we were put here on this earth so we can start making this craziness stop.
Absolutely. I definitely think that we were born for this time. That's my personal opinion. I tend to be an optimist, but I think that the stuff that we're finding out and realizing now, if you really look at it, how far back it goes, how much cover up has taken place, we're literally forcing these people to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first step.
Right.
The punishment phase has to happen.
Right. Right. And we can't even let our administrations even say that. I mean, maybe it's just words. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But I don't want to accept you telling the public that we're going to move on. I mean, no, I don't want to accept that from any administration. I want somebody to step in, and because our leaders, I don't care who you are, make a difference. You know, we have to hold them accountable and scream, no, we're not moving on. And I see that everywhere from all different kinds of sides. And, you know, you guys may not agree with a certain influencer or not, but at least they're screaming, we're not going to stop. You know, that I love those words. I don't care if we're on the same side. Let's all fight to save our children and protect our children in all aspects from these evil beings out there, from the indoctrination, from the transgenders. I mean, I even say that we live in a free country. You want to change your sex? Hey, you go do that when you're 18 plus years old. Hopefully you've done the critical research to know how horrific this is going to be on your body. But we're talking about the innocent of innocent here, you know, and we've got to be the army that says enough.
And if we can't come together on saving and protecting our children, then there's not a lot of hope, and I personally feel like we will.
Yeah. And this is why I get so excited to have a community slowly but surely. I mean, it doesn't take I don't need millions to make a change. We just need to sit there and say, we're going to do this together and know that we can do this together, that we can lean on each other. This is why I love having our communities too, besides even just the show, because we can talk to each other, get to know each other and say, all right, hey, let's share this out. I mean, that's the least we can do is if someone's hashtagging something, share it out everywhere on every kind of social media I have, to bring awareness,
Exactly.
And that's a great way to use our voices.
You might not be the one that can look at this stuff and discuss it, but there's some way to help.
That's right. That's right. And I'm just going through these guys so you guys can see that all these different things that I have done to bring awareness. I have the two last ones here. This one has been in the most, and this is about the trafficking from the immigrant children, plus, what's going on here with that too. So, right, the migrant children, the Constitution being backward at this time. This one's called Justice. She is my most popular piece. And brings a huge awareness. When you zoom in on these things too, if I can encourage you guys ever to stop and look at somebody's artwork and literally, zoom in on things, to sit there and see the message that it's portraying, right? Because it has a lot of power and meaning behind each piece that somebody creates as well. Yeah, she is was probably to this day my most popular piece, depending on what it's being used for, like in museums and expeditions or awareness. Yeah, this one and the next one are my two most popular pieces for that subject.
It's beautiful.
Thank you so much on that one. But I kind of have been flowing through this because I really wanted to talk, and I promised you guys we're going to be leaving with some happy little humanitarian stories as well too, because I don't want to leave you guys on this note as well. But this one is the one I really wanted to talk about. This one is the hardest one I have ever had to create, because when I do these pieces, Frosty, it's not like I said, I can be sitting here listening to, disco or upbeat music and jamming out and dancing. And hey, let me create tragedy in that same breath, because music and art really go hand in hand. Right.
Right.
And so each one of these pieces that you see like this, guys, what you're seeing in the background, there's a few collage pieces, but it's not your background. When you're looking at Justice and you're looking at her, that's not background. The collage pieces are on the hand. That background's all done. That's all, that's all paint. So, and then the research, because I can't be up here going for profit or, hey, rape on campus or doing all this kind of stuff, without having my facts. So it takes 3 months just to research this, multiple documentaries, multiple news reports, fact checking, making sure that everything I'm putting in here is going on. And as I'm creating this, and I was at school at Columbia, literally like 5,000 young boys come up against the Catholic Church for, being molested. So all of a sudden I'm including that hence the rosary and the stories, over here about the Catholic boys. I'm putting that into the piece as well here too. But as I've created this, my professor's going, your whole aura is just gone. You're just so sad. You're so, depressed. I'm like, it took me down. I was depressed over this. I couldn't, my husband's like, you need to, my professor's like, you need to, it's like, you need to start creating happy pieces now. If anything, definitely take a break. And I hadn't done a statement piece until years later, like almost 2 or 3 years later, when I did the one of the Savior behind me, because it just took so much toll on me to literally really dive into this, because not only do I have the children, I've gone through this, I have the children that have gone through this, and now I'm diving into this worldwide problem, right? Because it's not just at my door now. I'm finding out the millions of children that are being taken worldwide. The menu, you can see that in here too, the menu, right? I want, a Hispanic girl. Who are the clients? A lot of times we think, oh yeah, it's usually some, guy that's been in here from the border, right? Some, guy from, South America or who knows what. No, most of our clients, when you guys go look at that list, most of those people and those clients are white men. And I'm finding this out back then. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the most horrific thing I've ever dealt with. And as I am literally going upstairs after presenting this to my class, some young man's like, oh, does that still happen? And this says every 98 seconds. What I told you guys and showed you from the Department of Homeland Security, they say every 40 seconds.
The wall of repeated headlines to me is pretty much a headline every day that we see of children being trafficked or another network uncovered, let alone Epstein files.
Right.
But it's just every day we find out more and more. And it's, if there's any surprise to me, it wasn't evil or the amount of it that we see, the degree, but it's just how many people among us, lower level in our society, corrections officers, principals of school, us judges,
Right.
all around us, the amount, the enormity. And I'm happy to see that that level of people right now are being arrested and that there is some action being taken, but we have been asleep for a while on a lot of this. Now, not everybody. There have been people championing for a long time, but I feel like there's an awakening within a greater society now that we may have not had in the past. Do you
Right.
feel that way?
I do. I have said this multiple times. I think that God took COVID and turned it into one of the biggest awakenings for our world, not just our country, but our world. Because we got to see, like, I'm sorry, what do you want to inject us with? What's going on in our schools? What's going on with our government? What's going on with our funding? I mean, it was like every time you turn around, there was another web. You're like, what in the world? You know, I mean, a lot of people didn't know. I mean, school was probably a huge eye opener for them. Like, what are they teaching in schools? We trusted that. Or we're going to close all the churches down. You're like, wait a minute, what? You know, and ministers being fine with that. Like, I don't need to preach to you guys. You don't need this. I mean, to find out, okay, what's going on, right? I mean, that moment changed the world, I think, forever. In so many aspects, good, bad, and indifferent, but for eye-opening. And then how many people prayed, God, we want you back. God, we need you back. Please don't leave us. I mean, that outpour, we saw revivals all over. We saw our millennials. My husband just read a report right now that young men, there is a mass uptake in young men going back to church so they can find good, decent girls. They're tired of the trash. They're tired of being dehumanized. You know, they want to, and so it's amazing how many of our young, you know, are turning to God that were taken out and taken away from them. So, you know, he's been able to use it, but I think, you know, that he's expecting us to start standing up more, using our voices. It's like, hey, if you want it better, is it worth fighting for? Or are you just going to sit there and keep your heads in the sand like you did the last 4 decades? You know, I mean, they weren't out and about and public about it, guys, you know, but what they did behind the scenes, right? And we just got the Band-Aid ripped off of us. And now what are we going to do?
Well, that's good because that's exactly what I see. And I know this is a terribly depressing topic. And the Band-Aid is getting ripped off. And we can't go back to sleep now. It just can't happen. We have to, first of all, we have to take care of our children. And that supersedes any political divisions or whatever. It's strictly good versus evil.
Right.
That has to come first. We can fix everything else, but we have to take care of this first.
Right. Right. You know, I mean, if we want a better place, you know, you and I, we're middle-aged here too. And we're probably not going to be around for the next 50 years. 50 years from now, definitely we'll be in our hundreds or so, probably not going to be here. But what are we leaving behind? Our kids don't have pathways. They can't afford anything. Education's a joke. They're being told that they're not even created wonderfully. I mean, I tell you guys this all the time. We are wonderfully, divinely made. He knew us before we were in the womb. I mean, it's in the scripture, right? It's like, how can we not be wonderfully made? We also live in a land right now, which is still pretty free. And what are we going to do? What are we going to leave? What is our legacy going to be? We're going to sit there and continue. I mean, it's like, once you know,
right?
How do you ignore it?
You can't. You could, but you know, I don't think anybody wants to go to sleep at night thinking about, I could have done something to help these children. and not doing. I mean, no matter how small it is, you don't have to be on the front lines. You don't have to, but you can do something to help because the momentum's there now, and we can be the ones to fix this.
Right.
And
Right.
I can't think of a better legacy to leave behind as a generation or as a people than to fix this.
Right. You know, and I always say you got to find your hill and fight like hell. Why not it be for our kids? You know, and making sure that they have a better future. Because think about it. If nothing changes, what is that going to look like for them? It just keeps getting more encroaching and encroaching and encroaching. And, you know, I've also seen the memes of like the elites with the chessboard and all the people are underneath the chessboard. And they're like, if you just realize you could just stand.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, let's be that
It's
generous.
literally 1% of those people, if
Right.
that.
Right. And yeah, we little ways,
The only
guys.
control they have is what we give them.
Right. Exactly. Reminding them that they work for us. And I don't know how. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I've worked for people trying to run for office and make a change and get shut down. I mean, but maybe it's like social persecution. I've seen people like a story out of Ohio where fathers showed up after somebody was listed. I can't remember his name, a guy from Ohio, and they showed up to his work going, "Oh, explain yourself." We're seeing out of New Zealand, they just arrested that guy, Sedan or whatever his name was, right? Because the public was in an outcry going, oh my gosh, who is this guy, right? I mean, maybe it comes to public shaming. Maybe it comes to whatever. If you see them say something, it's, you know, find out where they are. If the government's not going to do anything, let them know we people are not taking this. You know, if you I hate Bill Gates, he's not one of my friends, tag him. Right? I'm like, get the gates of hell out of our lives. Something, because like I agree what you said, Ma Bell. Social media right now, right, has been absolutely a cause for hyper awareness and of what other things, but it also can be used as a tool, just like AI. It could be evil, but it's here. So why not use it as a tool to create memes and videos like you and JJ did to share the word? You know?
Well, you know, absolutely. Social media is the news now. They're not talking about this on any mainstream platforms, and that's why we're not listening. We know we're not getting the news from them. We are the news. And, you know, if you can't run for office because they've rigged the system to where only they win, do other things.
Mm-hmm.
They only have the power we give them. I'm not advocating anything other than using all the means legally at your fingertips, like social media,
Right,
like awareness.
exactly.
You know, advocate.
Yeah. I'm not saying out there go out there and cause a war, but I love it. What Cass was saying, I got friends out there in teams looking and rescuing children. That's right, you guys. I just looked for my different areas. Like, okay, who's involved in human trafficking in my area? I love to get my art out there. I love to go be involved. What are you doing? How can I be? I was just invited to something in DC that's coming up next week. I'm like, oh man, yeah, let's go figure this out. How can I be, you know, a champion for this? Even if it's just like, hey, I want to come listen to speakers and support you, get your word out. Hey, can I bring my art? I'm reaching out to museums right now because with this in the headlines, my art could be a huge advocacy for you guys sharing this word. Because yeah, I mean, the other side's screaming about this too. Thank heavens. They, you know, like I said, what we're being told might be a little bit off depending on who's telling the story. But the point is this is real. And so, yeah, if you're on one side and you're screaming about it and we're on the other side and we're screaming about it, we're all fighting to save the children. That's awesome. We may not agree on the narrative, but doesn't mean that the issue's not real.
Right. And there are so many, like you stated before, I see that with this new generation too, the younger people.
Right.
I see an awareness in the younger people about this kind of stuff. And maybe it is because they have the news and the internet at their fingertips a lot now. They're not dependent on mainstream media. They, you know, they can share stuff amongst themselves. Whatever it is, I think that we have a bright future. And I think right now we have the momentum going on this and a lot of other things that we just got to keep going full steam ahead.
That's right. That's right. You know, a great point here. Let me remove this here, because one thing I think is great to leave on, and I'm going to share this out on X because they made a great point. But I really love this right here. So what Thriller Gorilla, I follow him. We follow each other, but it's awesome because he says, if we let this go, then we get to explain to our grandchildren one day how we knew satanic pedophiles controlled our government and our world, and we didn't do anything about it. Keep your foot on their necks and expose them all. I thought that was awesome. Do we want to be the generation where we knew this and we tell our grandkids, oh yeah, I knew all this is happening, but I didn't do anything to save you? Right. Or what's worse, can you imagine going and telling God, now that we all know this? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't, I mean, if we're all getting judged on something and I don't know, again, I'd be a terrible judge. That's why I'm not God. But you can imagine if that was something that he looked at you and just said, hey, you knew all this. You couldn't share a tweet. You couldn't say something. And you're like, okay, yeah, I just buried my head in the sand. I didn't want to care. I mean, I don't want to answer that. You guys may disagree with me on that. But that's one of my fears is I want to say, you gave me all this knowledge. You trusted me. And that's something else. Because after I did that rape piece, I didn't say, I had a hard time with this going, it really did break me. And I had a hard time and I struggled with God. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm just creating art. I'm headlining in certain things. But what else can I do? And, he brought a certain message to my heart about my children. He says, he goes, I did not cause what happened to you. But because of what happened to you, I entrusted you to take care and protect these 3 kids. I was like, wow, it completely changed my whole outlook on it. Like, okay, he already trusted in me to do something because of my past. So, okay, I have this information, and that's why I continue to fight for our children, why I continue to do things, whether it's educating our kids or building a community, because all 600 of us don't have to do this together, but maybe 5 or 6 of us can. And we're not alone because there's more power in numbers. I mean, it's really hard for that one person to stand up, right? But when there's 2, it's easier, right?
Yeah, we got each other's backs. And, if you don't know what to do, pray about it because he'll give you something. Right. If you really want to find your way in this battle, he'll show you the way.
That's right. Right. And ask him. That's the easiest thing I can honestly say. If you want to know how he can use you or what he can do or what your mission is, pray about it. Ask for guidance. Say, how can I be a difference? What is my voice? What can I do to help the situation? But I'll tell you what, I can promise you this. You guys can literally lean on us and we will lean on you. And together we can do this. Together we can do this. And not just with the children, with anything. There's more power in numbers, and we can all do one thing. We can pray for angels to surround all of our children, whether they're being trafficked or not. They need the armor of God bad. And 2, we can use our voices and be the change together.
Absolutely.
Awesome. You have any more wonderful questions for me, my friend?
I don't think so. Nothing that comes to mind right now. But I would just say thank you for your working with the children, your own and the others, and thank you for fighting the fight and putting yourself out there.
Oh, I have to, and you're more than welcome. And thank you so much for helping me join that fight and being there on this mission with me, because I know how much you love and take care of your own kids as well too, yes. Right? And that's what I love about this community and family. We are a family, and I am grateful for you, my friend.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everybody, we're going to say goodbye to Frosty. Bye. And he'll be in the chats because I promised you guys that we are going to do some great things. So I'll leave with some little bit of happiness here. Let me change all of my back, and we're going to be saying goodbye to YouTube too. So Frosty, we'll see you in the chats, my friend. And I can't tell you how much I love you. Bye, sweetie. Oh, we love Frosty. Oh my gosh, that was awesome, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to change our back backsplash. And I want to just thank both my guests, a wonderful Crusader of Truth and Frosty, for joining me tonight to help me on this mission and pathway as we fight to protect our children. They are everything. And together, you guys, we can just move mountains. I have a painting that says faith, right? Faith can move mountains. But together, we can all do something amazing. And I just love it. Love it. I'm so glad you were part of my community and I am part of yours. So we are going to do the Be Blessed prayer. I'm going to say goodnight to YouTube, but we're going to still be on Rumble and Pilled and an X. And we'll be right back after this moment.